Okay, hi. Game week 6 is done. For a change, I've had a relatively good week. I'll take you through that in a sec. Then we'll just have a quick check-in on the 553 league. We'll have a couple of new people joining, see how progress is going there. I'm not feeling particularly well at the moment. You might be able to hear that in my voice. I apologise. Fingers crossed I'll be feeling better by the time I put the next video out. Okay, so this week, very happy. I scored 79 points. It's generally pretty good if you can hit above 50 in any given week. So I'm very happy with 79. The game week average this week was 52, and so I was well ahead of that. So I'm really happy with how the scoring went this week. Let's take a quick look at my team and how it did. Back five did great. After hearing the Benjamin Mendy news late on Friday, I changed my team, took him out, put Bellerin in, and moved Wan-Bissaka to kind of the first place as a sub. And then when Pedro didn't play for Chelsea at all against West Ham on Sunday, Wan-Bissaka got promoted up from the bench. So I finally got one of these 9-point Aaron Wan-Bissaka games, which is fantastic. I've missed out on 2 of those so far, where I'd had him on the bench and he just hadn't made it off. Really pleased with that. I had Wayne Hennessy with 8 points. He had a pretty good game against Newcastle, saved what he needed to save, made a clean sheet. All good, can't ask for any more. Bellerin got a clean sheet but didn't really do much else for Arsenal. Andrew Robertson, clean sheet for Liverpool, bonus point. Marcus Alonso got a clean sheet in that 0-0 draw with West Ham. And then Aaron Wan-Bissaka also involved in a 0-0 with Newcastle but picked up 3 bonus points, which is fantastic. So when you're running a kind of a template team strategy, these kinds of weekends are the weekends you're looking forward to, because when everything drops into place, it gives you a really, really strong kind of scoring base. Then in midfield, I captained Mo Salah, and he's finally scored again, which was great. And Bernardo Silva had a great game in Man City's kind of thumping of Cardiff. Feeling really good about my choices here. I'm really glad I didn't pick Richarlison. That was the big dilemma for me going into the weekend. And I was pretty happy with how I read the fixtures. Cardiff away for Bernardo Silva was great. It was a big risk. Look, I was delighted when I saw him in the starting lineup, but I wasn't certain that he was going to be there. It was a big risk, but I'm really pleased that it paid off, and that he even linked up with Aguero, who's on my team for a goal, and it went really well. Even pleased with kind of the way I read the Brighton-Tottenham game. I mean, Tottenham won that game 2-1. I think it was relatively straightforward for them. So I'm glad I went with Moura ahead of thinking about signing Richarlison, who obviously didn't score or kind of return any attacking points as they went down 2-0 at Arsenal. And then up front, I've just got that one goal from Aguero, and a relatively quiet game from Wilf Zaha for Palace. And then I guess the result I really didn't see coming was Callum Wilson's involvement in Bournemouth's 4-0 defeat of Burnley. That was a kind of a classic example of the form book just being completely thrown on its head. Bournemouth looked great, looked like they could score goals. The opposite was true for Burnley. Looked like they weren't really making anything happening moving forward. But they were the ones to score 4 goals, and a couple of their players ended up playing really well. Plus, Burnley have got some good fixtures coming up, so it's going to be an interesting thing to look at. But look, overall, that's my team. Really happy with how it went. Really pleased for Bernardo Silva, and that I stuck with him in particular. And just pleased that all of my defenders managed to record clean sheets this week. Okay, let's just check in on the league and see how that's doing. First up, welcome to Vince and Mustafa, who have joined the league this week. Thanks for getting involved. Vince is killing it. He's come straight in at number 1 in the league and has got a great score, so congratulations to you. And look, I actually got the best score in the league this week. Isn't that great? It's about time things started going well for me. I'm pleased. So I'm kind of there in the middle of the table right now, but it's really tight between 3rd and 6th. There's the 4 teams are separated by 7 points, so it's a good battle there going on, and hopefully we can kind of make some grounds on Vince at the top of the leaderboard. Mustafa actually had the second best game week this week, so congratulations to you. And yeah, like I said, it's really tight there, so I think we'll all be changing positions again next week. If there's anyone else who wants to join the league and play along, there's a code below the video here. You can just use that to join the league at any time. It'd be great to have you on board. Okay, let's take a quick look at the week that just was. I'm not going to go through all the goal scorers and assists. I think you guys know who they are and can figure those out. I'm just going to share just little observations that I've seen in terms of the highlights, because a couple of people did catch my eye, and I was surprised by a couple of people in the results in this set. So okay, Fulham 1, Watford 1. I think the headlines here are, I think Watford are still a good team. They look pretty decent against Fulham. And then Alexander Mitrovic scored again. Could have had more than more than the one goal. I mean, he is very close to becoming a almost must-have. I think he's a very consistent striker, and he's good at bullying defenders and getting shots on target. So I'm going to be thinking long and hard about trying to get him into my team. Burnley 4, Bournemouth 0. This was a massive kind of shock, really. Burnley hadn't looked like they were doing anything this season. I think they got a little bit fortunate here, I think, with their first goal. But then from then on, I think they looked like they played really well. Aaron Lennon had a great game. He scored and I think got at least one assist in this game, and looked like he was back on some form. And Burnley have got some good fixtures coming up. So I think both Aaron Lennon and Ashley Barnes are players that are kind of just crept onto my watch list kind of out of nowhere, so I wanted to share that with you. Cardiff 0, Man City 5. Kind of business as usual here. You know, Cardiff aren't very good at the back. Man City are really good going forward. You know, Aguero scored. Bernardo Silva had a great game, as I've mentioned before. Gundogan did well. Sterling did well, got involved in an assist. It looked like Sane played well. All in all, you know, the same Man City that you're kind of used to, but you know, it's just a question of who do you pick based on what you anticipate being the kind of the rotation in Pep's squad. I'll leave you to figure that out. I can't figure it out myself. Crystal Palace 0, Newcastle 0. Palace 2 clean sheets in a row for Palace. They do defend pretty well. Wan-Bissaka's playing great and picking up, you know, clean sheets and bonus points here again. I've also got Wayne Hennessy, who's probably not a bad shout. He makes plenty of saves, and Palace are pretty mean at the back at the moment. But I've got to say, I'm really kind of down on Palace as an attacking team. They all might, you know, as you probably know already, I'm a Palace fan. I just don't see them generating a lot of goals. I think there's been one goal in the last 3 games, and you know, I do expect Zaha to be involved in nearly everything that happens, but I'm just not seeing that team as generating a lot of goals. So I'm really thinking of taking Wolf out of my team. It kills me to say that, but yeah, I'm a little bit down on Palace's attack. Based on what I've seen so far this season. You know, the same's true for Newcastle. They really didn't look like they were threatening much at all yesterday. I mean, I think they're pretty decent at the back too. So if you're looking for budget defenders and having a bit of variation from the big clubs, then Palace and Newcastle might be 2 of those teams that you look at. Leicester 3, Huddersfield 1. Kind of as predicted, you know, when I looked at the fixtures this weekend, I said I wanted a bit of Leicester against Huddersfield. It looked like it was going to be a good game for Maddison and Vardy, and so it proved to be. Maddison scored a great free kick. I know he's very fashionable in FPL circles at the moment, but you know, the player that kind of really caught my eye was Jamie Vardy. I know he's not a big secret to you all, but the goal he took, I think he scored the goal of the weekend. To score like that at pace and to chip it over the goalkeeper was fantastic, and he came very close to scoring another goal. I think he also got the assist for EA Iheanacho's goal. Just looks like he's back to, you know, running at top pace and finishing really well. Liverpool 3, Southampton 0. I guess the big surprise here is Shaqiri getting a start in the league and doing very well. He got a couple of assists. I mean, obviously he's a very good player. It's going to be interesting to see whether he's going to get rotated in weeks after Liverpool play in the Champions League, and if we can kind of predict that, then maybe he's a nice little budget attacking signing to kind of slot into that team. The other thing to say about this game was that Mohamed Salah, sure he scored, but he could easily have had 2 or 3 more than the goal he got. He looked like he was sort of getting close to his attacking best again. Whether he's still worth 13 million, you know, in terms of your teams, I'm not sure. I had sworn that I was going to sell him this week, and just based on the highlights, I'm hesitating just a little bit. We'll have to see. I'm going to make a call on that later in the week. I'll keep you posted. Man United 1, Wolves 1. Pogba did really well for, you know, the assist for Fred's goal, and then did really badly for giving the ball away for Wolves' equaliser. I've really looked at Pogba. I kind of like the idea of including him in my team. I want some exposure to what looks like a kind of a slightly resurgent Man United team. And I love the fact that he's a penalty taker, but I'm not sure. And then, like, Fred played well. You know, obviously Fred got the goal, and he came very close to scoring another one. But I don't know if any of you Man United fans out there can tell me a little bit more about him and how he's playing. That would be great. I just get really confused with Man United's attack. I just don't know who's going to be up there making things happen. It feels like Lukaku's the only one you can gamble on, because then you've got Rashford and Martial and Lingard and Fred, and I just don't know who's going to get game time and who looks kind of the most dangerous. So is he just in because of the games in Europe during the week. I don't know, but he looked pretty good. Brighton 1, Spurs 2. I mean, it was good that Harry Kane scored again, I guess. It would be nice to see him back on some form. Pretty frustrating, I think, for anyone that had Spurs defenders that they conceded that really soft goal in the 92nd minute or the 90th minute. But, you know, as I expected, you know, you'd expect Spurs to go to Brighton and beat them, and lo and behold, that's what happened. West Ham 0, Chelsea 0. I think Hazard played okay in this game. I was kind of very anxious to sign him this week, so I'm kind of glad that he didn't, you know, he didn't score or make any assists this week while I didn't have him. Still think I'm probably going to bring him in, but you know, he was kind of heavily involved in everything that Chelsea did, but they didn't look as fluid as they could. And obviously they've got this big fixture against Liverpool this coming week. The player that, you know, I thought really stood out in this game for me again was Yarmolenko. Obviously with Arnautovic was out of this game, Yarmolenko got himself into a couple of kind of good goal scoring positions and, you know, missed a really good chance to get West Ham the win. And after he scored those 2 goals at Everton, he's a player I'm going to have a strong think about. I think he's getting in play. He's getting into the kind of attacking positions you'd want him to get into, and I think West Ham are kind of a resurgent team at the moment as well. So, yeah, definitely having a good look at him. And then finally, Arsenal 2, Everton 0, Lacazette and Aubameyang scoring. Ramsey with a couple of assists. They're a good team, you know, they're going to score goals, and, you know, I think you probably have to pick one of Lacazette or Aubameyang. I think Lacazette took his goal really well. Aubameyang's goal was offside, and I don't know if you really blame him for that. I don't know. If I was going to pick between either of them, I think Lacazette's better price, so I think he'd be the guy I'm looking at, you know, very closely this week. The person who I was really interested in up before this week was Mesut Ozil. It's a bit disappointing that he was heavily involved in the second goal. He got the kind of assist for the assist, and I still do really like him as a player, and he might be the best option to try and get involved in that team. But then, you know, Aaron Ramsey got the assists this week for both of these goals, and I think he's pretty well priced too. So one of those 4, I think, will be on my team next week. I need to kind of look hard at the fixtures again, but they're players that I think are going to start scoring pretty consistently. So yeah, I think that was the kind of the story of this game. It's like those 4 players look particularly good. On the other side, Richarlison came back for Everton and didn't really look like he did much. It is a tough fixture at Arsenal, although they don't defend that well. So is he going to come back and score a hatful of goals in the next couple of games? Or has his kind of early season scoring streak come to an end as a result of that suspension? I just don't know. I guess we'll find out next weekend. Okay, look, thanks for watching. It was a good game week, I think, for most people. I hope your team did well. Please subscribe to the channel. Please join the league if you'd like to. And yeah, that's it. I'll be back in a few days to kind of look at my team selection for game week 7. Until then, I'll see you later. Thanks.